Lanterns. We got some Lanterns updates. There was a trailer that dropped, and I just want to dive deep into this trailer. Some cool things that we're seeing. You know, I'm not big on the Green Lantern character. I don't know much about him, but I do know he's a pretty cool character. I know John Stewart and Hal Jordan. I know Alan Scott. I know all those guys. But like I said, I'm a Flash fan when it comes to the DC universe, and I know the Flash, but Green Lantern, I'm new to this guy, but I want to learn about him. But this trailer looks fun. I've done a little bit of research, y'all. We got the first look at Hal Jordan's suit. I know some people are not really liking that it's not ring based, like it doesn't come on with his ring. It's just as a physical suit. But I've done a little research. I guess in the early on comics with Hal Jordan, it was a physical suit. So I guess he's going with that route as far as the Hal Jordan route. And then we see that Hal Jordan is mentoring John, and we get to see the ring in use. We see John Stewart using the ring, and I think that's so cool to see another Lantern using the ring. We saw Guy Gardner using his Lantern ring plenty of times in the Superman film, but now we're going to get to see it in the Lanterns trailer. And speaking of Guy Gardner, he was in the Lanterns trailer. We got our first look at him, and he's talking about the Manhunters, and we're going to get into that because this show is kind of like, it's like a detective type of show. They're trying to figure out what's going on in this little town. I enjoy the vibe of it, honestly. We get to see our first look at Sinestro. He's already locked up. He's already in captivity in a space prison, if you will, and Hal Jordan talks to him, and it looks like Sinestro is already trying to manipulate Hal Jordan. Now, I've seen rumors theorizing that Hal Jordan is going to die in the first episode, but in my point of view, it looks like Sinestro is going to try to lure Hal Jordan into the Yellow Corpse. And I believe if it were up to me, or if, in my personalized theory, I think Hal Jordan's going to join the Yellow Lanterns, and I feel like that's going to be a plot, and I feel like Sinestro is going to get in his head, because you see Sinestro telling Hal Jordan, yeah, no, John Stewart isn't here to join you. He's here to replace you because you're old and all that. You know, I added some of that stuff, but that's the way it looks like Sinestro's trying to get into his head. Sinestro, he's an evil dude, you know, so that's something I kind of caught on. Maybe that's going to happen. Maybe that doesn't happen, but we also see that John is talking to Hal, and he's asking him about the Manhunters. Now, the Manhunters, I learned a little bit about this recently, a little bit of TikTok, you know, you get a little bit of TikTok research. So it's not the Martian Manhunters. That's what I'm sure a lot of casual fans thought when they heard the word Manhunter was Martian Manhunter, which I still think Martian Manhunter could appear, maybe not this show, but in Man of Tomorrow in the future of this universe. But the Manhunters were basically the first Guardians of the Galaxy, if you will. They were created to protect the galaxy by the Guardians, and they went rogue, you know, and now they're back for revenge, and they're in this little town, and Hal Jordan and John Stewart are trying to figure out how to stop them and figure out this mystery. But back to the Martian Manhunter thing, I do hope that we see more Martian Manhunter in a future project. I want to see more like Mars and all that, and maybe that does appear in this show, maybe it doesn't. Like I said, I'm not a Green Lantern enthusiast. The main point of this podcast is I'm just giving my opinion, and I appreciate anyone who does listen to this. Like I said, this is an opinion-based podcast, High Ground 52. I appreciate anyone who does listen to this. But back into this, as far as DC goes, right now it looks like it's in a world building stage for the DC. Now, I feel like there's major projects, and there's like lower tier projects, if you will, like Lanterns, for example. I don't think it's a major project to watch for the casual viewer, if you will. I think that the Lanterns is just a show that's like, hey, you want to learn more about the Lanterns that are going to be in Man of Tomorrow, you can watch the show. And that's just the way I really view it. Like, comparing it to the MCU, the first 5 MCU films you didn't really need to watch, because their film that needed to hit was Avengers. If Avengers didn't hit the way it did, then the rest of the MCU probably wouldn't happen. And I think we see the same thing with the DCU. I feel like the first film that needed to hit was Superman, and it did, obviously. But I feel like the next film that has to hit for the DCU is Man of Tomorrow. Everything between Superman and Man of Tomorrow, it can flop, it can fail, it can not hit, because they're world building things. These are things to help build a world that's greater than just this show, than just the Supergirl film, than just the Clayface film. These are shows and movies that I'm obviously excited to watch and excited to see the world building in this universe. But as far as the big film that like has to hit, it has to be Man of Tomorrow, because that's your film that has all these superheroes, that shows that, hey, you can do a team up movie, that we haven't seen a team up movie really work in the DC in the past. They've tried it multiple times, and it just has never hit for the DCU or for the DC just film universe in general. But we see that James Gunn is already taking a crack at it in year 3 with Man of Tomorrow, and that's something I am so excited for. But